Well, how you doing, YouTube? Today I'm going to talk about the Ring Video Doorbell Pro 2019 version versus the 2018 version.
I paid my subscription and I thought, do you know, 200 quid's worth here and I can't even connect the damn thing properly. So I got my Ring doorbell, it came as a kit, the one with the transformer in it, like this. You put it into your fuse box. I paid my subscription and I thought, do you know, 200 quid's worth here and I can't even connect the damn thing properly. And when you're on the thing and you're trying to talk to somebody, you get this terrible echo, you get wind noise. The night vision had these infrared cameras on it. Sorry, infrared lights on the camera, and they were just totally blowing out the picture. All I got was darkness at night. A year later, tinkering around to see if I could do anything with this night vision, and I discovered that a little bit of black tape over the infrared sensors that are just here. I put a bit of black tape over that, and what would you know, I got proper night vision picture. It wasn't black. So I got on to them and I said, can I just turn this infrared off? And after a bit of toing and froing and messing about for an hour, they said, we'll just send you a new kit. I waited for a new kit, paid a couple of quid in postage, and just before Christmas I got a new bundle of the Ring Doorbell Pro, and you know, it's slightly different packaging now and they've made some tweaks with the hardware. I've got it all laid out. Here's my existing kit that I got in March of 2018. As it came with a sleeve with a magnetic flap, very nice. Specifications in the box. Came with the camera itself, with the button, the lens, and that's a screw hole for keeping the thing locked on, you know, the cover, screw holes, setup button. On the back you've got your cables for your 24 volt supply, and the old one also came with 3 different bezels to choose from, and that was the default one that came on it. Now you see the holes, they're specific to that year, because what they've done is they've moved things about between the years. So it came with that. It came with this adapter thing with a bubble, which I didn't use, like have a straight eye. Came with some screws, this bypass thing which I didn't need because I don't have an existing doorbell. There's a packet of wires which would have been handy for, you know, the terminal part of it. Keep it nice and tight against the back of this. But the only thing is, these things are massive, so I couldn't use them because otherwise it would have been sticking out a mile. What I could have done was I could have twisted them together and soldered them, but that was too much effort. I just sort of wrapped it around the terminals. But I think I might use the new version of those Came with this doorbell chime, and came with some screws, blah blah blah, and it came with the instruction manuals. Now these were all pullouts. Didn't really like the format of these pullouts, and I'm pleased to see that they've changed the format, and that's to do with the electrical installation of the transformer. That's to do more with the doorbell itself. But what I found a little bit misleading with this is it's not showing you, you know, a switch for the doorbell, which you're going to want, and then it's indicating that you're going to put it in here. So that's really not setting a very good example to people. But this is the old version, okay? So I would have marked up doorbell there, and then doorbell transformer on these. You know, just make it a little bit clearer for people. And here, this really got me, because you've 4 terminals, and yeah, it says 1 on 4, but it was a little bit vague, you know. I mean, I could have just made that a wee bit simpler, or, you know, maybe blanked off 2 and 3, because you don't need these. They're for different voltages. You need 1 and 4 for 24 volts. Down here, you've got to your mains electrical power. You know, one of these is positive and one of these is negative. You know, indicating there, you'd think, oh, that just goes straight onto the bus bar. But you'd be wrong. You need a positive and a negative. So only, what is it? I think it's the right hand side goes to your positive and the left hand side goes to your negative. There's nothing in these instructions to tell you the best practice to do that. The only place I found that was a video demonstration on their website, and I really had to hunt for it. So that was the old instruction manual. This is the new instruction manual. It's a leaflet with all the different languages. English is first. First things first, how do you get the bezel off? It doesn't show you. So here's the new one. Right? Can't get it off. What the old instruction manual told you to do was, you know, push on this bit and pull on that bit. If you don't know to do that, you're going to be hacking away at it with a flathead screwdriver. So I'll get to the exciting bit more about that later. This transformer hasn't really clarified positive and negatives or what I was saying there. It's exactly the same transformer. The only difference between the new and the old is this right in here is slightly changed. Well, you know, it's the same right, and it's just the format is different. But yeah, I mean, why not stick a wee blanking plate on the top there or something, just to, I don't know. The doorbell itself, this new one has a heatsink backplate. I'm not going to worry about heatsink because I'm in Northern Ireland and you don't get any heat over here. But apparently this works up to 40 degrees. So you take the bezel off and you can see that the speaker is now to the side. So instead of coming down from the bottom, it's to the side. I don't know, is that going to be better or worse? Microphone is still at the top. So I don't know if that's going to help wind noise at all. Old. I assume that's the microphone. They don't actually tell you anyway. The infrared looks like it's in the same place from what I can tell. The lenses. Let's have a look at the lenses. different lenses on those, but I reckon that's a whole different aperture, and well, you'd assume that they've upgraded it, but the specification is 1080p at 160 degrees field of view. So it has a nice colourful orange side button for the setup, much more distinguishable. Excellent. The new one has a QR code, the old one didn't. Nope. So that's going to make things a lot easier, actually, setting things up. And also, when this is mounted on, you're still going to be able to access the QR code. Now, I just set up one of these battery powered ones, the Doorbell 2, and the code is actually on the back of it. So when you've got it stuck onto the door frame, and you know, you've got to take it off to use the QR code, which was kind of silly, but this one they've got it right, it's on the side. Yeah, it does feel a bit bulkier, this one. Terminals look good. You see there's a label there, no label here. These has some slots on the back of this. I don't know what these slots are all about, but anyway, so that's that. You can change the bezels. The packaging just is a sleeve now. They've cheapened up on that, and you get this box. You still get the bezels, same colours, and you still get your tool, and you get your screws, some extra screws, and then you get your little wire extenders. Notice the difference. Okay, so these are these big chunky things that you just push in. These are the twist type, a bit smaller. These ones have the fork or the prong kind of flat termination. This one is the ring type. So obviously you're going to want to use these ones, because that way you don't have to take the whole screw out of the back of your doorbell and then it drops on the floor and then you've lost it. This one you just unscrew it a little bit, slide it up. This one, oh my goodness, what were they thinking? So I might actually use them, because I might just go for a twist solder, or I have borrowed this sort of corner wedge bracket thingy majiggy from next door neighbour, and he has the battery powered one. But the only thing is, it doesn't really match up with the screw holes. So I don't know how I'm going to fit that on yet, but I'll figure it out and I'll let you know later on. Alright, now this is your bypass widget, which is nice. Comes in just like a little pack. You just poke the wires in, as opposed to this bundle of crap that they send you. Now, the instructions on the internet says something about needing this for protection, whether you have a doorbell or not, you know, a hardwired doorbell or not. So I don't know about that. I'm going to have to read more about that. So the last thing I want to show you before I get it all fitted is the chimes. So not much different but the old one has a solid logo. The new one, you know, it's all cut out, so that ring is going to light up. And then on the side, you have a button for setting it up. This one is slightly recessed. This one sticks out a bit more, so that's easier to press. The old one didn't have a QR code on it. No QR code on that, just a Mac ID. But the new one does. So you just scan that in your app and it's quicker to set it up. You don't have to use that, but yeah, it helps. But for goodness sake, why did they put the QR code away up in that corner? You just have it on and you can't see it anymore. Could they not have figured out that it needs to go here or here? You know, make it smaller. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. I'm really pleased to see that they've made some improvements to this. Like a good heat sink on the back feels much more robust. You know, they've moved the speaker. They must have moved it for a reason, and that reason being that people must have been complaining that there was issues. You know, so they don't just do these for a laugh. The camera looks like there's been an improvement there. So I'm hoping that they've got better electronics in this as well, you know, so maybe stop some of the freezing that was happening, better connection. I don't know if maybe the Wi-Fi inside this is better, who knows, but I'll leave it at that and get the thing installed, and I'll let you know how it goes. Well, I've got the camera all set up, installed, and I'm quite impressed. It actually worked. The night vision with the infrared is much better now. I think it's working as designed. There's certain things that are outside that are reflective, and it's shining a beam right on them, and the picture's in color, and it's good light levels. I must admit it's a tad darker than what I had before with the tape over the infrared, but only very slightly, and you know, I'm happy enough for that. When I set the thing up, I scanned it with my phone, the QR code on the side of it, and it was very, very quick to install. Yeah, so I noticed when I went through the installation process, there was a couple of extra screens that wasn't there before, such as it said that you had to make sure that it was powered down before you installed it. That wasn't there before. Useful to know, but a little bit too late in the game to be telling me that, since I already installed it. So maybe that should have been more prominent in the instructions, perhaps. You know, like a sticker or something. Because yeah, I mean, if you're messing about with the live electrics, then you're gonna fry the thing, aren't you? I got the wee twist-on wire extenders fitted. Has the open end spade, and with the little bracket that I fitted, the corner bracket, you know, I was able to tuck the wires just in the back of it. What I ended up doing with the corner bracket is using my next door neighbour's extra long screws that came in his battery operated doorbell too. He got lots of little extras that he didn't need, so I just used those longer ones that I was able to put the 4 in for the corner bracket to go into my PVC door frame. Just screwed right in with a bit of effort. Didn't use the screwdriver that was supplied. I've got screwdrivers. Only thing was, when I was screwing it in, you try and tighten the thing up and it's just flexing. So the camera against that, you know, is not flat. I think they should make more of an effort to make the corner bracket more rigid, especially around, you know, where you're going to be screwing it in. Or, you know, make sure you have washers. I think that would really help. And then once the corner piece was on, kind of overhanged the frame of the door. So what I'm worried about is someone could just put their hand in behind and yank it off. Although Ring does have a theft guarantee, but now that they've sent me out this new one under warranty, I don't know if it was to get pinched, where I stand. But the main point is, the software seems to be a lot faster. It isn't the same software. I know right away it's not the same software on the old camera, because this new one has, what do they call it? Snapshots or something. So it's taking snapshot frames between events, which is really, really handy. I love that feature. Oh yeah, so there was one hiccup I had with the installation. I had it all set up. Live view was working, doing the tests, but literally just set it up and I was on live view and it would cut off after about 20 seconds or so. It cut off on me. Then I tried ringing the doorbell and absolutely nothing happened. So I was messing about with the app, just, you know, comparing image quality, blah blah blah. After about 10 to 15 minutes, I started noticing that there was motion detection coming through, and this was all in the same timeline of my old camera. So I don't know how the transfer happened. Maybe it was at their end that they matched the two MAC addresses together. I had to wait about 10 minutes for the doorbell, push the button to actually do anything. Must have been doing some background updates or something. Now, as it's the Doorbell Pro, the doorbell actually talks to you in that recorded voice, and it did say that the software was being updated, but it also said that the lights should be flashing, you know, on the doorbell, and they weren't flashing at me. So I don't know what was up with that. But I did read somewhere online that it can take up to an hour to do its thing. One other thing to note is the security screws are different to the old one, and that includes the little security screwdriver they give you. Can't believe that. So if you have the choice of selecting 2.4 or 5 gigahertz on your Wi-Fi for this camera, because you're installing this thing outside, your router's inside, you're going to need maximum range for your doorbell to get a good signal, and 5 gigahertz is notorious at being rubbish at range, good at throughput. So I'd recommend opting for the 2.4 gigahertz range rather than the 5 gigahertz. Unless you're having some real bad issues with neighbors' interference and stuff like that. But if you can select it, do that. If not, don't worry about it. So that about wraps up my review of the 2019 Ring Doorbell Pro. And all in all, an improvement. Would I recommend it to family and friends? £200? No. £170 maybe? Yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, you're investing not in a doorbell, you're investing in a security system. And if you see it like that, then it is well worth its money. Of course, you have to get the subscription. It's not much, it's only $30 or something like that per camera, or you can get a discount. So I hope you really enjoyed my review. I'm gonna make more little things like this, so please like and subscribe. It really does make a difference to me, because YouTube are like that. So yeah, and hope to see you again. Bye now.